Welcome to Red Alert 3, and this is Cyber signing into a 2v2v2. Things are already underway, so let's go ahead and introduce these 6 players. Oh, that's an airfield first. That's an airfield first allied player in the top right-hand corner. This is Amaze. His real name you'll have to see at the end of the game. I'm not going to pronounce it because his teammate is the yellow. This is Alice. Alice dropping a power plant in the top right-hand corner, hiding that in their allies' base. As the purple, this is Messican. We were just talking about him in the chat. One of the mates players who's been playing Red Alert 3 for a good long while and abandoning the middle of the map, heading for safer waters. This is GreenAlert. He's playing Soviets. He's playing green, sticking with the name. Always glad to see it. And as the red, Empire taking over the middle of the map. This is OtherDawn. Rounding out these 6 players, the cyan allies in the bottom left-hand corner. Give it up for Yuno. All right, we finally have our introductions out of the way. Yellow and purple going to be clashing down here. Allies versus Soviets, dogs versus bears, communism versus capitalism. And right now, the lag is winning where the bear roars after it has already died. Yuno in the chat popping off saying that this is not him for sure. So Yuno already distancing themselves and being like, nope, not me. You're going to have to find someone else to blame. If this game is no good, if these moves are bad, it's not going to be. Yuno says they only play red. I did not know that. Messican showing up, seeing his own game on stream. Not live, but, you know, still here. That is an unfortunate MCV placement. So much hope for GreenAlert here to go for a Tesla coil push, and it gets completely shut down, pushed away, and denied. It gets pushed away, denied by these jabs and that missile system. Here we go. We'll see. We'll see if it is, but this might be a Eureka rush forming in front of our very eyes. Actually, wait a second. Do we have a... Okay, we do have a barracks. Oh, we have a tier 2 barracks. Eureka is perhaps on the way. Things are getting spicy. Things are turning silly. We have 2 Soviet players in the south looking to go rough and tumble into their opponent's base with a double Tesla coil push. That gets shut down. That gets denied. And yet, behind the scenes, unbeknownst to them, a Eureka rush waits. It's building. It's getting ready. And I hope there's nothing inside of that twin blade because it did just go down. Peacekeepers are going to be defended by Vindicators as these javelins get cleaned up by those bears. Double airfield. 8 Vindicators potentially on the defense for this double allies team. That's a tier 3 barracks. We are in the zone for a Eureka rush. It's not the fastest Eureka rush possible, but this is indeed a surprise Eureka rush. Mass conscripts coming in here. A multi-gunner turret to defend on the southern side. Going to be keeping that barracks safe so Alice can pump out a ton of dogs to take this game to the next stage. Alice wants to actually survive this opening gambit from the Soviet players. If not by sea, then by land. The MCV will come for the bullfrogs to only be killed off. But the MCV will come for the Tesla coil push, and it is pushed back yet again, denied a second time. That double Soviet team is hoping they can make that Tesla coil push happen at some point, but it is not yet. It is not right now, and GreenAlert is keeping his game alive, but not for long. That engineer goes down. The refinery gets eliminated, and GreenAlert is pretty close to dead. He's got the crusher crane, and he actually does have 3 refineries. Only one of them is a working refinery there, and suddenly this double Soviet team really needs Eureka to take the pressure off of them, because otherwise Yuno and OtherDawn are just going to run away with this game. Red and Cyan joining forces in a Eureka rush to tear down their opponents. And if there's one place Eureka rush will work, it's going to be a 2v2v2. Occasionally, people do try it in a 1v1, but it's much easier to scout and stop when you don't have the chaos of a 2v2v2 on your hands. Fortunately, the crane was in the southern part of the map. It wasn't out on the water. And no, Messican. Messican will be the next target for this Yuriko. Tengu's going to be transforming, going for the kill on the bullfrogs, but really, the Yuriko is the thing you have to worry about. The super reactor will go down, and bye-bye. The Terror Drone is not enough. 2 more Terror Drones can be juggled, but no! The juggling doesn't happen! OtherDawn makes the mistake. The micro isn't good enough, and the Crusher Crane survives. The refinery survives, albeit barely, but they do survive. The engineer jumps inside, and technically, GreenAlert's hope remains alive, but there is still a Tier 3 dojo on the northern half of the map. The Tengu goes down. The Tengu survives, rather. The Tengu cleans up everything else. The super reactor is on the way. And what is this? No, it's Vindicators. For a second, I thought that glowing orb left after the destruction was from V4 or Dreadnoughts or something. But no, it is going to be just Vindicators. GreenAlert has been defeated. Our first player to fall. A 2v2v2. No, a 2v2v1. I was trying to build to the 2v2v1, and then I just totally messed it up and called it a 2v2v2. All right, this Tengu will eventually go down. Terror Drone and Conscripts is a slow-burning unit combo, but it will eventually go down, and this Harvester is slowly going to try and escape that Tengu, and it does. That's a waste of a cryo shot, but a pretty minor victory for Messican in this game. Sorry, Messican. I don't think you're going to see your own victory here. Although if Messican sent in this replay and he doesn't win, props to him. Although no, we shouldn't count him out. Messican could have sent in this replay. I mean, someone else could have sent in this replay as well. But he could have sent in this replay, and he wins from like a really protracted 1v2v2 kind of situation from here on out. It does seem like he has been knocked pretty well aside, but maybe all of the 4 remaining players opposed to him will just duke it out amongst themselves. They'll leave him alone for 15 or 20 minutes, and he'll be allowed to rebuild quietly in the corner of the map from not nothing, but close to nothing, all by his lonesome. Yuno and OtherDawn feel like they have taken over a huge section of the map. They've done a good job of capitalizing on the opportunity that they have. Tier 3 dojo does get eliminated. A good target identification by Amaze and Alice. They realize that that Tier 3 dojo is something to eliminate. A worthy target to knock down nice and early. You don't want that thing sticking around too much. Double crane, because Messican got the crane from GreenAlert. So that is way too many build queues probably for this stage of the game for the sheer number of harvesters that Messican has. The dude only has 3 harvesters out on the map. He's got an oil derrick as well. But 1 crane or 1 build queue per harvester is perhaps a bit too much. Apollo's showing up. OtherDawn and Yuno taking over a big section of the map, but they don't have the complete control of the top left-hand corner. They have a good chunk of it, but they don't have the whole thing, and they really need to take this last little set of refineries. You don't want to give your opponents those 2 free refineries when you could be utilizing them for yourself. And at the very least, you want to harass these refineries, because that top left corner of the map is so often a relative safe haven. It's definitely not totally safe, because it is a 2v2v2. And that was a funny set of animations there as that engineer splashes down. Ooh, no, there it is. All right, Sentry Bomber. As that engineer splashes down onto land. And hey, always glad to see some commando action. We got some Yuriko plays in this game. They weren't fantastic, but they were good enough to get the ball started. And they may actually continue. Now, along the edge, along the southern edge of the map, we'll try and keep an eye on that Sentry Bomber. So far, I think it's the only Sentry Bomber in the game. That's a dangerous spot for Yuriko. She does eject out in a safe area. Does manage to survive. Can juggle the bear. It's not too much damage. And actually, no, a Tengu is going to come in to support this. So that bear does get eliminated. Sentry Bomber might be on the move. Yes, it is. Circling around. Twin Blade's going to be able to jump on Yuriko, and that crane actually isn't all that important and YuunoYo goes down. Big kill there for the Twin Blade or the Hammer Tank, whoever it was that actually got that kill. And I think this is the Sentry Bomber up here. So YuunoYo has been eliminated. Yuno says if Messican wins 1v4 here, well, that Yuno will call Messican the Red Alert 3 god. And that would be a pretty amazing game, although I think it would be one of those games where it's more because his opponents left him alone for 20 minutes than Messican did anything amazing. I mean, if it was truly a 1v4, that would be remarkable beyond many other things that we've seen in Red Alert 3. Shogun battleships, hydrofoils, and even assault destroyers are here, but Tanya is on the way. Tanya's on the way down. Mecha Bay gets sold off immediately. Nicely done, although the power plants might be close enough to chain them. They're not. Oh no, the glitch happens! Tanya both reverts backwards and enters the power plant at the same point in time. It gets weird. When you start messing with time, things get weird. And, you know, that just, that's one of those things that happens. Sometimes you teleport backwards and also blow up a power plant that's down on the ground while you're falling from a parachute. And you die all the same, and that's just the end of it. But first Tanya, not good, but didn't do nothing. You know, it's one thing when the Tengus catch you on the way down and you literally die in the air without having accomplished anything. There's that, and then there's forcing the sell-off of a Mecha Bay and getting 2 power plants, which is close to nothing, but it's technically not nothing. Okay, round 2. Sentry Bomber is still here. We'll go ahead. No, never mind. Well, all right. I don't know what this is doing. I don't know where Tanya's going. Is this going to be a Shrink? Hey, it's the Shrink. If she goes right for this Super Reactor, that would actually be a super sick combo. Super Reactor into the airfield, into the war factory, into the refinery. Oh, no, she's going for the... Okay, going for the high ground. There's another Shrink. All right, let's see what we can get done. This is opening the doors for the messy comeback. 4v1, the true god of Red Alert 3. Oh, one down, and that's all you get. Oh, no, into 1 Tengu, 2 Tengus, 3 Tengus more. Oh, the split is good enough. 4 Tengus, not enough. Wave Force Artillery would have been sick after that. That would have been amazing if the Tengus didn't get split and she just goes from Tengu to Tengu down the line, one after another. But it is not meant to be. Oh, wow. Tanya Momento. Yeah, flipping back and forth in time. Not quite able to do as much as she had hoped. Yuno on the move, our Cyan allied player. Gonna get caught by that chopper, by that, not chopper VX, by that cryo blast there firing off. Sentry Bomber will go down. A little bit unfortunate for our yellow allies. And it looks like the barracks will get eliminated as well. The Peacekeeper goes down also, which means that cryo blast was essentially completely negated, partially by the fact that there just weren't no units. And, all right, first Chronosphere is out. Amaze gets himself a Chronosphere. And Messican's chances of the comeback are looking pretty good. Messican is being left to his own devices. He's got 3 refineries, which soon will be under his control. I mean, 90,000 credits, that's a lot of cash to be able to just dedicate to building units, and your opponents are fighting each other and not each other. How did these Shoguns not kill off this entire base? I wasn't paying attention to the Shoguns, but this is a ton of Shoguns. How did they not wipe this base off from the map? I mean, you can get over here and you can get most of these buildings. Maybe not all of them. Proton Collider is here, by the way. But you can get a good chunk of those buildings. Tanya... Okay, for a second I thought Tanya was inside of that Sentry Bomber, but no, that Sentry Bomber is just going to try and run away. Going to try and get clear of the area, find a different home to call home. A different home. Oh, Messican. Messican, if you just build Twin Blade Bullfrog for 30 minutes and just slowly kill everyone... I don't know, we're going to use the fast forward button a lot if that's the case. Sonic Decimator is here. Twin Blades are here. Bullfrogs are here. Tengu's going to be transforming. They're close, but no good. Wave Force Artillery is also there. Tengu's going to try and chase down the Bullfrogs. This is a messy engagement for sure, but this is turning out super well for Messican. Okay, not any longer. Hydrofoils are there. A bit more difficult to deal with. And Mirage tanks are just blasting through that refinery. Suddenly, things don't look so good anymore. Triple Toxin drop on top of those Shoguns. Always nice to see, but unless there's an engineer inside of one of those Twin Blades, I don't think you're going to be able to find it. Also, this entire base got destroyed. Completely leveled there, as Tanya has not been able to find her way out of this base. Oh, the Shoguns double infect. It's not a big kill there, but the Twin Blades will actually get some of the other ones. One of the Twin Blades going heroic. Shogun's going to be getting those point defense drones as well, but Tengu's will get the kill on both of the remaining Twin Blades. Good night, Twin Blades. It was nice knowing you. Apollo's chasing down a couple of Vindicators. Not much more than that. Tanya is going to make a run for it. If Tanya could make it out onto the water, one by one take down these Shoguns, that would be pretty good. Wow, you are really killing your own Shogun like way early. You could have probably got another 10 shots out of that Shogun, maybe 5, before that Terror Drone does its work. Messican has been beaten back even further. 1 refinery, 8 grand left in it, 1 oil derrick. OtherDawn and Yuno, they have done a really good job of taking over the map, except for these locations, which they have only just now cleared from Messican. But I guess slow and steady is winning the race here. Mirage tanks busting down those hammer tanks, and eventually taking down all of these Civ structures as well. Cryogeddon on top of what is basically just 2 power plants, which actually isn't that valuable, but where's the Apollos? Where are the more than 1 IFV? I guess there is 1 IFV here, and that is truly enough to take down 2 weakened Twin Blades. But they do need to actually kill the Twin Blade. Okay, there we go. Finally killed the Twin Blade. Cryogeddon fires off, but actually it didn't do very much. And Tank Buster Surprise, it's a nice idea, but it doesn't work out very well in this case. Unfortunately, Amaze is just too strong. Messican getting knocked down. I guess Messican didn't have an amazing 4v1 or 1v4 comeback and knock down all of these players. Well, the noose is tightening. Amaze is maybe going to be the last player left in this game. A little pocket of a base up in the top left-hand corner. Messican increasingly having nothing left to his name is sticking in this game. I guess if an MCV was able to escape somehow, if he teleported it to the other side of the map by magic, that would be pretty sick, and he would be able to do something with that. But honestly, no. He just got left alone again for the 2nd time. Oh, actually, Yuno setting up with this MCV, going to be taking over 2 fresh expansions. I guess Yuno has really been focused out on the Navy for a big chunk of this game, building 1 million hydrofoils and dolphins. Sonic Decimator, Chronosphere gets added on by Alice. Alice and Amaze. They've got the abilities, they've got the super weapons, but not much more than that. Mass Tengu. OtherDawn says it is time to end this. At the very least, I will be able to take over, kill all of these power plants. If nothing else, oh, Cryogeddon. Cryogeddon will catch a chunk of these Tengus, but only 1 gets frozen. 2. Okay, 2. Only 2 get frozen. 2nd Cryogeddon, ready and waiting. A couple more Tengus going to get jumped on. A couple of power plants may go down in the interim. Messican is still technically alive. Shoguns and Vindicators blasting through his Bullfrogs. And it is going to be low power mode sooner or later. 1 minute 40 on the clock for Amaze, but it looks like that is where the clock will stop ticking. And indeed, the clock of his time in this game will accelerate perhaps a little more. MCV down, power plant is eliminated, and that is pretty much it for this player. They have a war factory. They have not a war factory. They have airfields, 3 airfields for Amaze, and that is basically it. No more power. Oh, no more ability to maybe selling off all the airfields would get him back online because he does have a second power plant in the south, but it kind of doesn't matter too much. These Tengus aren't going anywhere. OtherDawn and Yuno with a bit of a slam dunk in this game. There's the fire sale from Amaze. Everything must go. Okay, I guess it was just a fire sale in the top left-hand corner. The rest of his buildings are still there. Amaze is still in this game, hoping to hold out in the corner. Messican going to be able to get the kill on this double vet Athena cannon. Always nice, but would be nicer if there was a path to victory. Oh, that terror drone on the dodge. Ready to dodge and weave out of that danger. All right, Messican, you've had a good run. You had a good attempt, but I think it's time to call it. Messican is about to be... has this airfield glitched, or is it truly still frozen? Yeah, it's still frozen. Messican is about to be knocked out of this game. Not unless he's got some secret... What is... Okay, if for like the 4th time the Tengus just turned around and left, I was going to be very surprised. Psionic Decimator is counted down to 0. Super Reactor is getting targeted down. Tengu's slowly getting broken off bit by bit. And Messican has been defeated. He will not mount the 1v4 comeback. He will not have some kind of amazing play, which is unheard of before in these our times. Massive shot from the Psionic Decimator. Catches basically everything in its wake. And I love the idea of the Athena cannon burning down. Oh, okay. All right. Takes down a couple of Tengus. Not really that big of a deal, but takes down a couple of Tengus. I love the idea of the Athena cannon just burning down the walls like one at a time, and the GG gets called. OtherDawn and Yuno with an absolutely dominant performance here, absolutely smashing all of the other players in this game. Nice, tidy 23-minute 2v2v2 here on Carville. Not some kind of phenomenal set of gameplay, but there we go. Yuno and OtherDawn, they had a pretty solid game. They got control of the game early on, and they never let it go. They didn't make any big mistakes. They just macroed well. They got free range of like the whole left side of the map. No one tried to fight them over there, so they were able to just take over all of that stuff. And yeah, the other players weren't necessarily super good. Messican and GreenAlert got knocked down pretty early, which they definitely would have put up a bigger fight, but that's it. Well played to Yuno and OtherDawn. Thank you all very much for watching. We are going to jump into another game. Welcome to Burnt Out Paradise. This can be such a paradise of a map for us, the viewer, and not anyone playing on it, because in an FFA, things often get chaotic, they get crazy, they get tense, and we don't have to worry about any of that. We're going to watch people make mistakes and laugh at them, because we would play worse than them, but we don't have to, because we're watching Triple Refinery Opener. You can get away with it when it's an FFA in the north, playing the Blue Empire. This is Persic. The orange Soviets in the top right-hand corner, running for the low ground, going Crane first. This is Aggressor. Meanwhile, on the opposite side of the map, playing as the purple Soviets, this is pewpewlazer. Always glad to see that guy's name in the game because it's fun to say his name. Not necessarily because he's, like, you know, always in the best games, but it's fun to say that guy's name. Meanwhile, this guy, I don't know how to say his name. He is a Yellow Empire, and his name is a bunch of numbers. 969413, if you really care, but that is his name, and I'll be calling him Numbers because, as the Cyan allies, this guy's name is 3 letters long. This is Pone. We'll see if that is what he's going to do to other people, or if that is what is going to happen to him in this game, because as the red allies rounding out this 6-player FFA, this is Endymion. Another one that I'm probably pronouncing wrong, but I don't care all that much. It's 6 players. There's 2 Soviet players. There's 2 Allied players. There's 2 Empire players. A perfect distribution of factions. What are you doing, man? Is he going to sell? Okay. I thought maybe he was going to go for an MCV cap in G-Cell. And I was like, I feel like the Empire player just packs up their MCV and runs for the hills. This is going to be a double, whoa, Aggressor and pewpewlazer. This is an FFA, folks, but this might be truly an unholy alliance, and I feel like pewpewlazer is going to get the better end of this deal because he's the one not attracting attention. He's the one who's maybe going to be getting a free refinery here as that War Factory, as the MCV, War Factory, what am I talking about? As the MCV gets taken out, there's going to be the kill-off of that Imperial Warrior, and this dog is not going to be able to protect that engineer, that bear rather, is not going to be able to protect that engineer from that ore collector, but one of the 3 refineries has already been eliminated, forced to sell it off, and the Tesla coil is going for the other one. pewpewlazer has been able to take over this location. He is causing some real problems for this Empire player who has got a fully upgraded tank buster. No low ground expansion. I thought Aggressor had been able to sneak out a low ground expansion before that MCV took off for the hills, but indeed he was not. pewpewlazer has the Tesla coil, denies 2 of the refineries of Pershik, and is going to be forcing him out onto the water for perhaps the rest of this game. MCV on the move, expansion coming up. Meanwhile, in the southern half of the map, the garage is somewhere. Wait, actually, where is the garage on this map? Here it is. It's in the middle of the map. I was thinking it was down more towards where this hospital is, but no. It is more towards the middle of the map. Tank busters are a powerful unit, and in this case, they're going to break down that sentry gun before it has a chance to break them down. That conscript is going to try and even the score as this refinery gets set up in the corner. pewpewlazer takes an additional refinery here. Going to be potentially keeping up this Tesla coil push if he wants. He does have a couple of reactors here to extend out his build radius if he cares to. And, well, he's going to be going out to the water. Might be trying to take this naval expansion. He does have the... Oh, no, there is actually a garage here and one there. So I missed out. There are actually 4 garages. I thought there were just 2. That's a crazy number of garages. Wow, that's a lot of garages out on this map. Dry dock as well. The only thing that they are missing is, of course, the airport, which is really only present in 1? Is it just 1 map? Like, well, one of the standard maps. Not that people don't make custom maps with airports on them, but I think it's just corporate warfare. That's pretty much it. And for a 6-player FFA, this is actually a relatively calm opening. Ah, that is where your MCV went off to. pewpewlazer, I was wondering where his MCV ended up, and as it turns out, it ended up in his opponent's base. Soon, there may only be 1 Soviet player left in this game. Bear's going to be coming in. They get one of the flag troopers, but not the other, and it is going to be a Tesla coil getting added on to your friend's base. Not so friendly to add a Tesla coil into your opponent's base, but you know what I'm saying. Tesla coil trying desperately to kill off these conscripts. Never is a sadder sight than a Tesla coil trying to knock down conscripts and slowly losing that fight. pewpewlazer is taking over the northern half of the map. He wants to set up 3 expansions for himself, or rather, 3 bases worth of expansions, and suddenly pewpewlazer is knocking Aggressor out of this game. In the south, it looks like Endymion is going to be the one who is taking over the map. He's got this corner. He is starting to pressure Pone, and it's with Athena cannon, so he is already teched up to tier 3. Meanwhile, Pone is actually deciding to spread out a little bit north. He may be running into pewpewlazer before too long, and that is going to be our first player out of the game. So now they are down to just 5. And pewpewlazer is looking well set up to go into the late game. Triple refinery on the way. This dude does not mess around, and he's done basically all of this with an MCV and a barracks, but that is not going to be enough to stop this allied player. 6 garages. Are you kidding me? Am I missing it? Oh, no, you're right. 1. No, I'm right. You're wrong. How many garages are there? I don't know. Somebody in the chat said 6 garages. There's one there. There's one there. You're right. There are 6. I was wrong. I don't know how to count. That's why I thought there were so many garages on this map, because there are actually an insane number of garages. I didn't realize. I mean, I guess technically at some point I've counted them before, but it did not click in my brain that there are 6 garages on this map. Are you kidding me? 6 garages? Silly. That's a silly number of garages. So anyway, Aggressor is out. pewpewlazer has not completely encircled Pershik, but is getting pretty close to completely encircling our Empire player in the north. 1 Soviet player is gone. 1 Empire player is looking to hold out against the overwhelming force that is pewpewlazer. And I feel like it's looking like Endymion and pewpewlazer are going to be the big heavy hitters in this game. I mean, come on. This numbers guy, he has been basically having this... Oh, no. He went... What is this? What is this? Okay, I was right. He's not a heavy hitter. Anyone who's building multiple harvesters, come on. What are you playing, a different RTS game? No. In Command & Conquer, well, in Red Alert 3. In all other Command & Conquers, you would be right to build multiple harvesters. But in Red Alert 3, we don't do that here. We build just the one. Because, you know, they were trying something. Maybe it didn't work out, but they were trying something. Anyways, I feel like Yellow is on the verge of extinction. He has had no fights with anyone. He should have, like, half the map. He should have an expansion over here, and, you know, have a whole bunch of different stuff going on. But he doesn't, and I feel like that's going to be the death of him. So really, it feels like red and purple are the big players. Maybe Blue is actually going to find a name for himself, fighting it out with pewpewlazer. Actually, wait a second. That's a tier 3. Have I missed a Yuriko somewhere? Is pewpewlazer going to overextend himself and knock himself out of this game? Oh, actually, there was a fire sale. Nope, not a complete fire sale. I feel like pewpewlazer could very easily extend himself too far, and then Pershik comes back and just knocks him down, because he's going to have all of this super high-tech Empire stuff waiting around the back, and he's not going to realize it. These strikers should probably actually transform. They could kill those dreadnoughts. 1 wave force. No, they all survive. The rockets split across the wave force, and finally, 1 wave force goes down. The dreadnought gets eliminated as well, but that will do it. Unfortunately, those 2 dreadnoughts thought that they were highfalutin. They thought that they were pretty cool, but they weren't. Yuriko is now out. Pone has been forced off into the corner of the map, and pewpewlazer is truly spread too thin. This dude thought he was flying high, and everyone was scared of him, but he is having a really difficult time actually knocking these players out. He knocked 1 player out, but other than that, he's had a really hard time actually killing anyone in this game. He's more just pushing people to the edge of extinction, to the within an inch of their life, perhaps beating them within an inch of their life, and then unfortunately not being able to land that final blow. And as a result, yeah, pewpewlazer is about to get knocked around. He did not have anything prepped for this Wave Force artillery for this Yuriko. And now, well, okay, if these terror drones get the infect, then it'll be the end of these Wave Force artillery. But this is actually really good control by Pershik. He is actually handling this better than most players would. He was actually able to hold off better than I think most players were expecting. And on top of that, the Wave Force do actually survive. Goodbye, terror drone. Goodbye, terror drone. There we go. Finally gets knocked down. Natasha is here. Snipe should be coming in momentarily to knock down 1 of these Wave Force, but it will be the Twin Blade that gets the kill on 1 of them. And Natasha is about to get knocked down by the other one. Nicely done there by Pershik, and it will be not the end of his life. It's not the end of the line for him. Instead, this Harvester is going to try and go heroic as he cleans up Conscript after Conscript. Not going to be quite enough, but the Wave Force, this heroic Wave Force, has done so much for Pershik, just knocking down so much of what pewpewlazer has to offer. Athena cannons from the low ground, knocking down these these power plants one by one. Pinko the Bear, Pew Pew. Wait, no. Vexan TV. Pew Pew is the aggressor. Nice wordplay there, combining names in a very accurate way. And if pewpewlazer knocks down Pwn, then it'll be pewpewlazer is the aggressor who pwns the other players in this game, which is a sentence that sounds very old in terms of the internet. From like, I don't know, 2013 or something. Wouldn't people say pwn? Oh no, the War Factory and the refinery almost both got caught. That would have been a huge amount of cash down the drain. It is already going to be a decent amount of cash down the drain with 2,500 credits getting eliminated there. But Pwn has been eliminated, so pewpewlazer is the aggressor who pwns the other players in this game. We are just going to slowly combine all of these players' name into one long sentence. All of these players' name. Although, no, the names that are left don't really make sense. I feel like we're at the end of the sentence is just pewpewlazer is the aggressor who pwns enemies. Yeah, we said pwned all the time in 2006 to 2010. Yeah, that was 12 years ago. That was a long time ago in the internet. In the age of the internet as well, where 1 week feels like a year, and trends happen and expire so incredibly quickly. Final Squadron getting called in here by someone. Strikers are actually going to be able to pick up a kill on this Athena. Never mind. I forgot about Aegis Shield. So yeah, Aegis Shield gets popped, and nope, nothing goes down. Whoa! Okay, Stingrays getting airlifted by Twin Blades. Rocket Angels getting picked off by Migs, and pewpewlazer turns his eyes north. He says, I have found the kills that I want, and it is here in the northern land. He finds the tier 3 dojo, and he is going to knock that down. No more Rocket Angels, no more Eureka, no more slick moves to try and bring the comeback from these one-off attempts. But Endymion is here with the big allied fleet. All right. Red versus purple versus blue. Pewpewlazer is going to need an answer to the allied fleet, and it is going to be a difficult thing to stop. Hey! The Athena cannon did eventually go down. It did eventually go down. It did take 4 Chopper VXs to eventually knock it down, but it did eventually go down. A couple of Twin Blades getting shaved off here by these strikers. Drive-by as these strikers get infected by the terror drones, and the Twin Blades are coming back in to finish the job. Power plants trying to get established so that this Defender VX can come online, but unfortunately, I don't know that it has the range to defend all of this area. Actually, no. No, it can. And our first super weapon of the game finally coming online. Endymion will be able to get that in just under 3 minutes. He'll be able to activate that chronosphere for the first time. Sentry bombers and aircraft carriers joining together, and there's the fire sale. Pershik is out of here. Nope. What has he got left? Oh, over here. One refinery on the left side. I mean, you know, he could kind of hope that pewpewlazer turns south, and certainly pewpewlazer has more pressing concerns than one refinery in the north side of the map. But it would kind of be funny if technically Pershik just survived with one refinery way up here. Nope, there's the sell-off. All right. He has been defeated. That is the end of our third player in this game. Oh, well. Oh, the Pwn Hammer is a weapon in Terraria. That is an old game that I actually just recently picked back up. I started playing Terraria again, I don't know, for like an hour or two in the last month. Since American Thanksgiving and Christmas. Not Canadian Thanksgiving. I don't know when that is. I think it's earlier in the year than American Thanksgiving. But, oh my gosh, is Yellow going on the offense? Whoa! 969. He is actually going to go and fight someone else outside of his own base, and I am very proud of him for it. He's got a garage. He's got a bunch of buildings under his control. And yeah, pewpewlazer, he's going to have to find something to do about this allied fleet. It is encroaching on his water space, not his airspace, but is on the seas that are under his control. Oh my gosh. These Apollos and IFVs absolutely shredding everything else that this Soviet player has. Endymion is a worthy opponent for pewpewlazer, and with these super weapons counting down, Endymion might be the only player who can knock down pewpewlazer. The question is, can pewpewlazer actually knock down Endymion? And look at this, from the low ground, Tank Buster's just working away at this flak cannon, slowly but surely burning it down. Magnetic satellites getting called in. Not magnetic satellite, satellite orbital drop. Orbital downpour? Orbital something. Yeah, orbital drop getting called in, and the satellites will do some damage, but pretty much all of the allied naval units split away and avoid the damage. One Akula sub against all of this firepower is not nearly enough. A couple of Dolphins will be getting cleaned up here, but this one Akula sub will get absolutely torn down. EMP lands right as the Dreadnought emerges. Heartbreak here for pewpewlazer as one aircraft carrier will help seal the deal and end this game for pewpewlazer. You should finally get around to playing Command & Conquer. If you do mean the whole series. I guess you might mean the Red Alert series, but yeah, you should definitely get around to playing Command & Conquer. They're a bit buggy, a bit rushed out the door, but super fun games, very enjoyable, a kind of RTS that doesn't get made anymore. If you like StarCraft, well, you get StarCraft 2, you get StarCraft Remastered, and you get, you know, one StarCraft clone every 3 or 4 years. If you like Command & Conquer, there's nothing for us. Nobody wants to make a game and try and market it to 12 people. You know, you're going to go after, like, Company of Heroes or Age of Empires or StarCraft, you know, something with some real numbers to really get those stockholders quivering. Get them feeling different about themselves. You don't go after, what have I said? You know, Natasha gets eliminated. You don't go after the Command & Conquer fans. There's like 10 of us here. And, you know, we love hanging out, but the marketers, they don't like us. pewpewlazer getting pushed around. pewpewlazer getting knocked aside by Endymion. And this guy, he is a full power Red Alert 3 allied player. He's doing pretty good. Like, all things considered, the guy has attack groups 3 different places on the map, and he's doing a pretty good job of pushing things forward. Why? What is that? What is that? You know the thing where you do as an Empire player where you use Emperor's Rage to make your opponent's units slower? He just did the opposite, where the units that aren't moving, that are standing in one spot killing his things, then just got a boost to kill his units even faster. That was the funniest use of Emperor's Rage in a long, long time. I'm so used to people using it on their opponent's units to make them go a little bit slower so that, like, their Eureka can escape or, like, something like that. But no, he just used it to make his own units die faster. Oh, that terror drone was almost sick. He got knocked down by the Dolphin basically immediately. But the bow was pretty sick. EMP? 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 Natasha! Oh, the EMP catches everything. The Dolphins are able to escape it, but the EMP catches everything else. A sick move here by pewpewlazer, but it's just not enough firepower from the Soviet player. He's got an Iron Curtain. He has got a Vacuum Imploder. They have just both been added on, and actually, Yellow, Mr. Numbers, may be the perfect combination of a buffer that these two players need. pewpewlazer and Endymion are the two powerhouses in this game. Oh no, pewpewlazer, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Endymion is just gonna run away with this game. But, oh, never mind. I was gonna say that Yellow is like the cushion, the buffer in between the two of them. All right, Numbers is gone, And suddenly, we just have two gigantic powerhouse players, one Soviets, one Allies, both with a shot at taking this game, and now suddenly we're transported into the land of 1v1s, but it's ultra late game. It is so late in the game that the year might as well be 3004, because that is the place that we are at, and the vacuum imploder is under threat, and with the proton collider is about to fire off. So this vacuum imploder is pretty close to dead. I guess you could try and land the vacuum imploder or the proton collider on the army. That'd be pretty good. Chronosphere fires off, eliminates a big chunk of that Soviet infantry. Natasha gets eviscerated, and the Proton Collider finds the rest of the army. Mass sail from pewpewlazer as he tries to get as much value as he possibly can, but that is just the buffer zone for the rest of this army. Toxins getting called in, satellites getting called in, and actually, the Athena cannon does go down, so that eliminates the Athena cannon threat, and the vacuum imploder has survived the night, but it is not over. It is not done yet. It is going to be a massive army of Apollos and Mirage tanks, which are trying to crush through. pewpewlazer has dominated the top half of the map, but Endymion has dominated the bottom half of the map, and now he is coming for the Soviet player in the north. He says, I want the whole map to myself. I want to control it all. And pewpewlazer is kind of just falling apart here. That attack finally does get beaten back, but that wasn't even my full strength, says Endymion as he brings the cryocopters to the front line. And once again, pewpewlazer is in low power mode. This dude has been fighting low power mode, it seems like, for the last 10 minutes of the game, although pewpewlazer has actually done a really good job of spreading out to the four corners of the Earth. It feels like every time I click on the minimap, there is a new refinery and a new crane under the control of pewpewlazer. The dude's adding on another super reactor after he just added on another reactor. Supreme Time Bomb has been activated. The Freeze Ray has been activated, and this War Factory is going to take a lot of damage. But it won't die. Super cool animations that exist here in Red Alert 3, but it's not quite enough. Did I just hear I thought I heard a flare firing off, which is the indicator of some kind of special ability being utilized. Oh, never mind. Iron Curtain takes out a huge chunk of infantry, and that will do it for that group of infantry. I would love to see some Kirovs, and now things have slowed down a little bit here as the Allied ground forces have backed off. They got about 25 seconds to wait until the Chronosphere can eliminate a chunk of this Soviet army, but pewpewlazer is coming to a big fight. Where are your cryocopters? Actually, no, genuinely, where are your cryocopters? Your cryocopters should probably be a part of whatever fight is going to be happening in the future. IFVs and a Mirage tank trying to target down everything that the Soviet player has brought to bear. It's going to be the end of the Twin Blade army, but maybe not the end of the V4s as they get chronosphered onto themselves. Chronosphered onto their brethren and sisterin as those V4s get eliminated. Flak Trooper doing what he can. This Flak Trooper is going to have a lot of shots to fire off, as he is actually a heroic, I think, hospitalized Flak Trooper. No hospital? No hospital. It's been eliminated. Never mind. Garage, but no hospital. Never mind, I'm looking on the wrong side of the map. There's the hospital. Yeah, he's got a hospital. So that Flak Trooper would have survived a long time versus those IFVs, and pewpewlazer has done it. He's actually built a pretty serious naval force. That, for Kulu subs, that's a lot of firepower to bring to bear against an allied player. And now suddenly, Endymion has stopped expanding. There are 3 expansions here. Okay, that one's depleted. There's 2.5 expansions there. There's like 30 grand between those 2 refineries. The Sputnik is here. The IFVs are clearing out everything else. And that cryocopter is going to help them actually clean up everything. And 2 MiGs go down. A 3rd MiG will be eliminated, and good night, MiG. But at the same time, pewpewlazer is actually making some headway. Endymion needs to actually expand out here. He needs to expand out to the west. 3, maybe even 4 if he's sneaky. 3 refineries for certain that he could take quite easily. A 4th right here, and that's actually got nearly 10 grand in it. So Endymion has stopped expanding. I feel like that is where his production has slowed down. Meanwhile, Toxins coming in here. Dolphins getting eliminated. Dolphins, one by one, are going to try and go toe-to-toe with these Akula subs. But that naval yard, that dry dock, is working wonders for this Soviet Navy. They're getting so much value because they're getting those free repairs. And it looks like this Dreadnought will be eliminated. If it's not the Cryocopter, it'll be the Dolphins that slowly but surely kill it off. Unless somehow pewpewlazer can save it. It's going to be the Twin Blades that save that Dreadnought. pewpewlazer may be able to do it. Iron Curtain saves these two Akula subs in the south, and it's red units versus red units as those Twin Blades get the drop on the Dolphins, and then the MiGs just get annihilated by the Apollos. The Apollos clean up the Twin Blades as well, but pewpewlazer has broken the Navy of Endymion. The wave pool is back, says Slowmath, and you could not be more right about that. Massive amounts of ripples going out in every direction in this game. Satellite drop on top of a command hub as he goes for the expansion point. And, well, this Akula sub may actually not be long for this world. No, both of you turn your guns to this. Oh, never mind. They had ultra torpedoes, so actually those Akula subs might be fine. He survives with just barely any health. Meanwhile, back on land, it's going to be Athena cannons, Mirage tanks, IFVs versus this Soviet army, which is a paltry group of just about everything. A couple of Tesla troopers in here actually causing some problems for this allied player, but not insurmountable problems as this Soviet army falls to pieces. These Mirage tanks and IFVs, double vet and heroic between them, just destroying everything that this Soviet player has on the ground. Well, maybe not everything. As the apocalypse has come, this Soviet player is ready for 4 minutes to fire off that vacuum imploder. It feels like pewpewlazer has been slowly but surely clawing his way back into this game. Not so much crawling, but he has been clawing his way back into this game by taking over literally the entire top half of the map. He never stopped expanding until he had almost every single expansion in the top half of the map under his control. That's the difference between the way that pewpewlazer and Endymion were playing this game. pewpewlazer never stopped expanding. Every time there was an opening, he was expanding, and Endymion stopped expanding. In fact, he lost these 2 refineries that he was trying to take control of. Oh, man. Even over the ridge, pewpewlazer is still expanding. He's going to lose this refinery. Who cares? The dude's building another one on the southern half of the ridge, and he's got a fresh war factory as well. Bunch of toxins getting dropped on his own V4, and he's about to get blasted to smithereens by the lasers from the sky, but it just doesn't matter because his name is pewpewlazer. Come on, who do you think you're going up against? You got a proton collider. You better be ready to use it because you got one shot to stop this man, and he's just fired off an iron curtain on APOC tanks that are coming to gobble you up. Proton collider is here. Actually, no, this chronosphere could end this army. Chronosphere catching those APOC tanks and sending them out onto the water would be a really easy way to end the game on land. Twin Blade's going to be showing up, but the Apollos rip them to shreds. The Proton Collider still hasn't found its mark. Chronosphere gets ready, and then it gets canceled as these APOC tanks drive out of it, and now they're on the high ground. They're just trapped up here, but they can lift. And actually, this APOC tank is now, he's on the edge. He's on the precipice. He is on the high ground there, and he is stuck trying to get himself off onto the low ground. I think he can drag these units into the cliffs, though. He just can't navigate around this space. There's not enough build radius That's not the right word. There's not enough room to move around on this high ground. But if he could magnetic harpoon this Athena cannon, I think he could kill it. He would drive it into the cliffs. Oh my gosh, these Apollos have done so much damage. The Apollos! Every single time you try to build anything in the air, the Apollos tear it to shreds. 3 of them fully heroic, and, well, they fly over a flat cannon. One of them goes down. 3 of them fully heroic. The other ones earning their stripes. And hunting the garage is a legitimately really good idea from pewpewlazer. But he's been slowly but surely encroaching on every corner of the map. He doesn't have that garage, but he doesn't actually need it. He rebuilds the war factory, rebuilds the refinery. He gets himself another expansion on this map, and he doesn't even care that a sentry bomber just blew up another expansion, because he just rebuilds it. Every time he is the Hydra of expansions in Red Alert 3. Every time you knock one down, 2 more take its place. 28 seconds on the clock for that vacuum imploder. Tick, tick, tick. The timer is counting down. Dreadnought is going to be eliminated, or at least frozen. Maybe not truly eliminated, but frozen. And there are so many potential targets for that to fire off on. Satellite's going to be getting called down on this location. Athena cannon will pop its shield, but toxins are actually going to keep it, and there is the vacuum imploder coming in concert with that satellite. It is a massive amount of DPS on that proton collider, and still it is barely enough, but not enough for that chronosphere, interestingly. It was just enough, far enough outside of the damage range that it will survive. Little more than 20 seconds on the chronosphere, but pewpewlazer has pretty much encircled this red allied player, and pewpewlazer should be able to knock this one down. Sick game from pewpewlazer. I thought it was going to get knocked down, but Endymion gave up on the expansions, man. The dudes stopped building, and that was the end of the game for him. Iron Curtain is ready. So is the chronosphere. I don't know. Chronosphering these dreadnoughts onto land might be your best move. It feels like that delays the inevitable, but there are a lot of options this late in the game. I don't know how long this game is, but it's been a long one, and it's going to be really difficult to fight back this much Soviets. Oh, actually, he could Iron Curtain these terror drones and just chew through this entire army. You got a bunch of Apollos. Cool. What are the Apollos going to do? Nothing. All right. Terror drones got 1 infect for like 3 or 4 terror drones, but the rest of them are heading way into the south. They are looking for openings. They are looking for opportunities, and these dreadnoughts are just burning down this allied base. Even bullfrogs are here. Why? I don't know, but the bullfrogs are here. They're hanging out in this game. A moving 10 hammer tanks would win the game. I think you're right. Your name is literally slow math, but I think that math is correct. This is one of those games where pewpewlazer never did build very much of a ground army. He did make a mistake with those extra harvesters, but he has, I don't know, 400,000 in the bank, so kind of doesn't matter. Two harvesters not doing their job is not the end of the world. Another dreadnought goes heroic. A Kirov shows up just for the victory lap. He wasn't a part of the game. You didn't win this game, Kirov. But he's here for the victory lap. He's going to do one. He's going to do a victory lap around the place and call it a day. What? No. He tried to chronosphere the V4s onto the building, but he didn't go far enough back. So he just chronosphered the V4s in front of the war factory, like they just rolled out and were firing rockets already. They came off of the assembly line, and they were just killing guys. Just launched from the assembly line with their rockets in the air. IFVs, they're going to earn their stripes by killing off Kirovs, but... Oh, no, never mind. The Apollos are here. Oh, my gosh, these Apollos. These Apollos have done so much damage. Hey, they're MiGs. Doesn't matter. The Apollo's shred MiGs. Apollo's shred MiGs in a 1-to-1, and you got IFVs on the floor as well, so I don't think it's going to work out very well for the not the Apollos. Whatever is not the Apollos, it's not going to work out well for. What are you trying to do? Make it rain? What did you expect? These Apollos have 1,000 kills between them. You're going to knock them down with like 14 MiGs? No. You're not going to knock them down with any number of MiGs. How many MiGs you can build? What's the highest number you can think of? Not enough MiGs. Doesn't matter what that number is. 12 million? No, not enough. I can't even think of a number bigger than that. Endymion has been defeated. pewpewlazer takes it to the end. There we go. pewpewlazer in a cool 34, 38-minute game. 37, 39-minute game. Takes it all the way to the end, and that will do it for pewpewlazer in this FFA. Game number 2 is locked and loaded. Let's jump into our next match. Welcome to Infinity Isle for a somewhat unique 1v1 because it's actually a 2v2. Some of you will know what I'm talking about already. Some of you will have no idea what I'm talking about, but on the left side of Infinity Isle, this is OtherDawn and Prince. If you're not familiar with Archon mode, I'll explain in just a moment, because on the right side, playing as the Empire, this is Elantra and Zaid. And yes, you did just see correctly, a purple unit emerged from a cyan barracks. If you are not familiar with Archon mode, well, welcome to Archon mode. This is micro-macro, is what some people call it. One player controls buildings, harvesters, and engineers. The other player controls all attacking units. So you will see cyan harvesters, cyan refineries, well, cyan buildings, cyan engineers, and maybe even cyan transports, but I'm pretty sure transports are the attacking player's control. And if you look, their silhouette is sometimes the wrong color because, you know, it's Red Alert 3. Someone made this as a custom game mode, and it's a little bit buggy, it's a little bit janky, but overall it works pretty cool, pretty well. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll try and stick the link in the description, or if you ask for the link, I'll go find it for you so that you too can play Archon mode. Again, I said it's a little bit buggy, but it does work generally, and it is super fun to jump in with another player. You do need 4 players for effectively a 1v1, but it's super fun to split up the tasks into this micro-macro kind of mode. And if you ever played Archon mode in StarCraft, well, same deal here. Harvester going for the kill there. Prince is the yellow player. OtherDawn is the red player. Elantra is the cyan player. And Zaid is the purple player. Allows you to just focus on doing one task and not having to do both sides of the engagement, of the coin. And as a result, you can end up seeing some pretty cool stuff that wouldn't normally be possible. And of course, in a game like StarCraft 2, where you have much smoother, more cohesive control, it's even better. Some of the Archon games, just insane stuff happens with 4 or 5 fights exploding all over the map. And you get a little baby version of that here in Red Alert 3 with our jankier controls and less smooth netcode. But in this case, it is cool to see effectively a 2v2 as this Tengu goes for the kill, gets the kill on that Vindicator, hunts him down, and runs him over. As out onto the water goes the expansion. It's going to be 4 refineries for the Empire team, which is a serious amount of cash flow coming into the Empire bank for the early to mid game. I keep seeing purple dots on the minimap, and I think someone is attacking. And of course, purple and cyan are both on the same team. It's always nice when the colors are a little bit more similar, like yellow and orange, or I guess blue and cyan would be a bit more close. I guess there's nothing really as close as yellow and orange. I guess you could say orange and red, but yellow and orange really work well together. Everything else is not quite as good. Purple-pink, maybe. Purple-pink would be a pretty good combo. Apollo going for the scout, sees everything on the map. It's a Tier 2 Empire player versus a Tier 2 Allied player? Is he not gone Tier 2 yet? No, I guess not. Tier 2, no, not even started. That's actually kind of bizarre. I am genuinely surprised there is no Tier 2 allies. He's got the airfield, he's got the naval yard, he's got some stuff that would be powerful Tier 2, but no Tier 2 from this. Yeah, there is no chat bot, Mr. X, I'm sorry. There is no chat bot. I do still have the description under the channel because I have not updated Twitch in a very long time. I should probably remove that, but I haven't, so... Sorry, yeah, there's no list of players for you. But when the VOD comes out on YouTube, there will be graphics, which will be on screen, which will tell you who is who. OtherDawn getting knocked down. Vindicator is going to escape out to the middle of the map. And this Empire player doing some good work against this allied player. One Vindicator goes down, the other does escape. The refinery under threat, and this Empire player really does need to respond to that. A couple of Tengus. Well, I guess one striker, because it's just a Riptide. But one striker out there would be enough to turn the tide of that attack, to knock away that assault of the Riptide. Apollo's going to be coming through. They're going to be looking for those strikers in the air. They're going to be forcing away those Tengus down onto the ground, and this one striker has enough space to get the kill on that Riptide. Oh, Apollos are going to chase. And, oh, the striker got in range of land just barely in time. The Apollos now out over the water. The Riptide gets back to attacking, and it's going to be up to the Tsunami tank to finally break this attack down. Stop that ore refinery from being eliminated. And, ooh, that was a close one with that Riptide. Those torpedoes doing good damage against that refinery. And OtherDawn and Prince, they nearly get a kill there out on the water, but they just don't find the last bits of damage. Fourth refinery could be coming up. OtherDawn has already been eliminated for our allied team, so they're just reliant on those refineries, making that fourth refinery that much more important than it is for the Empire team. A lot of infantry. A couple of multi-gunner turrets added to the defense as well around the map. And never mind, the Vindicators come in, it looks like, for a sweep to kill off that refinery. Nice attempt, but unfortunately, ooh, the space cable is here to witness that death of the refinery and to perhaps escort that refinery up to space. What's it going to do in space? I don't know. It's a building. But it's going to refine space. Make it a little bit better. Make it a little bit more like capitalism. The one place uncorrupted by capitalism, and that is the end of that allied infantry front line. The Vindicators go down. One manages to escape, but the blasting does come through. This Empire army is way too strong, and I guess the micro could be messed up here. Well, one Tsunami tank will get caught by that MCV. It goes for the crush, and it will get the cleanup on some of these Empire units, but the rest of them should be able to escape. No! The micro fails once again as Zaid lets a good number of those units expire, but it's not enough, and this allied army just did not exist. Truly, that was an overwhelming Empire force at the end there, and that is a very short Archon mode game. Just a 7.5 minute quickie there to send us into game number 4. Welcome to Magmageddon for a 3v3, as we can hear on the left and the right channels of the sound. The walls popping off in every direction. Playing as the Green Empire, this is Zaid. And making a comeback from that Carville game as the Yellow Soviets, this is Messican. Making a first-time appearance in this video, although his name has already appeared as the Blue Allies, this is Yuno. That is our first team, the team in the West. Meanwhile, the team in the East, will they be Team Beast? Let's find out, because as the Red Allies, this is Prince. As the Purple Allies, this is DachiMK. That dude has told me how to pronounce his name, and now suddenly I have forgotten. As the Orange Empire, we've seen him in a number of games before. This is Alvin Tay. On one side, it is one Empire, one Soviet, one Allied player. On the other side, it is two Allies and an Empire player. So we almost have a perfect faction distribution, like that Burnt Out Paradise game, but it is just slightly favored towards Allies, slightly unfavored for Soviets. Really, one of these Allied players should be a Soviet player, and then we would have perfect faction distribution. But oh well. Hopefully the game is good regardless. Hopefully the match is entertaining. Bear's going to be running down with these Imperial Warriors, looking for the kill on the Peacekeepers. And, oh, perfectly done there. The Bears avoid the MCV, but the Imperial Warriors do not. Really nice control there by Messican to perfectly avoid that MCV at every step of the way. Vindicator goes down. Prince having some trouble right from the beginning. The Prince is not having very princely treatment as he gets completely knocked down here. His Vindicator gets eliminated. His Harvester gets harassed. His front line gets cut down by a couple of conscripts, but he has some allies here. Dachi is here to stay, and it looks like it's going to be aggressive from Yuno as well. Alvin Tay doesn't even have his Mecha Bay up and running because he went 3 refinery plus a naval yard right at the start of the game, and that means that his Mecha Bay is super duper delayed. Prince finally gets out a multi-gunner turret. A barracks might have enough space to get some units out onto the map, and Dachi has found the ability to help out his teammate, his ally. He's got that barracks going, pumping out Peacekeepers, trying to help Prince clear the ground. Low power mode for just a moment for the Prince, but Zaid has taken this opportunity to expand out to a 3rd refinery, adds on the Mecha Bay, and is pumping out Tengus like his life depends on it. I mean, he's an Empire player. Basically, his life does depend on those Tengus. Sudden transport. There definitely isn't. Okay, there's no way, I was going to say, there's no way there's a Yurii this fast, right? And no, indeed there is not. It must just be tank busters, maybe a couple of Imperial Warriors. I always love the tank buster surprise when you sneak a couple of them into your opponent's base. It's always super satisfying when you're able to make something happen with it, but oftentimes it doesn't quite work out how you want. And actually, that worked out super well. Yuno dropping the bombs on that sudden transport and not on the tank busters. One Vindicator did manage to refuel just in time. Peacekeeper has to switch over to that Riot Shield mode to survive, and barely this airfield will survive. Alvin Tay so close to killing off that airfield and resetting the production of Yuno, but it just won't happen. Dachi is here expanding off of the build radius of the Prince, and it is going to be a multi-gunner turret and some Peacekeepers to try and break the front line of Zaid and Messican. Zaid comes in with that tsunami tank, massive crush on all of those infantry. That's like $2,000 worth of Peacekeepers getting eliminated there. And a couple of multi-gunner turrets also going to be getting traded out for these tsunami tanks. Unfortunately for Zaid, he does lose a tsunami tank there. Nearly it survives, but it just cannot survive long enough. Walls trying to come in to block off this this barracks, but it just won't be fast enough. The walls won't protect that that engineer, and I think the wall segments will finish building now that the barracks is gone. Another multi-gunner turret does get eliminated. Alvin, with the massive Tengu numbers, should be able to transform, might even be able to get the kill on that airfield. There is a multi-gunner turret nearby from Yuno, so Yuno will not go down without a fight. Twin Blade gets eliminated. Zaid and Messican truly playing this one out as a team fight, joining forces more than once, and that's a double cryo shot. They both had the same idea, but they did not coordinate that well at all. And so both of the allied players on the team in the east blast their cryo shots and completely miss everything there. I mean, it was a good move, but they both had the idea at the exact same time and fired it off. and then the Tsunami tanks just dodged the first one. And by merit of dodging the first one, they dodged the second as well. Toxins. Messican calls in something. It's going to be Toxins on top of that barracks. All of the infantry dodge away. They do manage to avoid the Toxins for now, but it does give the space over to the Soviet and Empire combo team. No, Messican! Messican donating away a couple of flaks and a couple of Tesla troopers. That's a lot of cash down the drain for that Soviet player, and Alvin Tay is building an impressive number of Tengus, a truly insane number of Tengus, but he is going to have like 3 or 4 refineries just pumping Tengus out effectively in a couple of moments here. MCV on the move for Alvin Tay. Refineries 4 and 5, could be on the horizon for our Empire player in the south. Meanwhile, Messican and Zaid, they're getting closer and closer together. I feel like Messican needs to take maybe 1 or 2 more expansions, though. He's got the Twin Blades, he's got the Super Reactor, he's got the good times rolling, but I feel like he needs a little bit more economy. This refinery would be fantastic if he was able to take that for himself, get 4 refineries pumping on these units. I actually don't know. Oh, his MCV is still back here. So it went back to his main base, or maybe he just base crawled to his expansion there. And it will be the place where the super reactor is located. Apollos versus Tengus. The micro is good, but in a 3v3, the micro doesn't matter as much usually. And we'll see if Zaid and Messican are able to hold their own in the north, because the south is feeling like a 1v1 with these Apollo Tengu wars. And in that case, the micro does actually matter quite a lot. Welcome to the stream, Gelwayne. Good to see you joining. And, well, I'm glad to help you sleep. If you use me as a sleep aid, I'm okay with that. That's not the dream of what I thought would happen when I put videos on YouTube, but I get it. Sometimes you just need a little bit of a sleep aid. So, okay, not just sleep. Glad to hear it. I'm glad it's not just a sleep aid. But, you know, I also recognize, hey, sometimes people gotta sleep, and sometimes the things that people find comforting that help them fall asleep are very bizarre to other people, and you know, so I get it. Plus, if you put a playlist of my videos on and let it play for like 8 hours, I'm okay with that too. I don't know how YouTube feels about that, but I'm okay with it. But a couple of naval units going to be getting spread around the map. Alvin Tay clearing out those water expansions. Good way to cut down on your opponent's economy, and at the same time, stop them from doing this kind of stuff. A bunch of tsunami tanks crossing over the water. If you have control of the water, you can deal with that. This is getting to be a scary Soviet Empire force joining together, and toxins are about to get dropped on this army, but no retreat from these allied players. Oh no, they're trapped now. Perfectly trapped there between the fire and the frying pan, a rock and a hard place as these tsunami tanks cross over onto the north side of the map. The perfect move, but it does get caught by Dachi's Mirage tanks as they blast away those tsunamis, and they say, okay, I'm just going to pivot over here to the right side, move a little bit further to the east. The toxins are about to wear off, and the infantry are pressing on forward. The Mirage tank line needs to turn down to the south because the Athena cannon and the... Oh, actually, no, the Aegis shield does pop, and the infantry have pretty much all expired. The last couple of multi-gunner turrets do not get taken down. I thought they were about to explode, and the Mirages would be the only thing to save this double allied team, but no! The double allied team don't need the Mirages because those multi-gunner turrets are just so powerful. I mean, the infantry almost cut them down, but a couple of peacekeepers inside of these multi-gunner turrets are doing some massive, massive work. Tsunami tanks finally break down that refinery, but at the same time in the south, the tsunami tanks are looking for the expansion of Yuno. They get the refinery, or they get the harvester, but not the refinery, is rather what I meant to say. Cryocopter is going to be getting the kill on these tsunami tanks. Strikers are here, though. They're going to be putting the hurt on those cryocopters, forcing them away. Meanwhile, Athena cannons have reformed the front line. This double allied team is extremely powerful, and as they rank up towards double Cryogeddon, there is basically nothing in the game that cannot be frozen by a double Cryogeddon. You need some kind of special ability, like, you know, Aegis Shield or Iron Curtain or something else to negate the double Cryogeddon. And if that fires off, MCVs, super weapons, nothing will stand in the way. Cryo Shot fires off. Gonna be catching a couple of these units. Cryo Blast could fire off number 2 as well. There it is. It's gonna find the hammer tanks as Messican tries to reform his front line, and he gets blasted to pieces. This would be an amazing spot to use that toxin drop, but it's on cooldown. It hasn't reset as the Guardian tanks come to the front line. Alvin may not need to win his 1v1 in the south because it may turn into a 1v3. Infantry and Mirage tanks blasting their way to the front line. And this is going to be a slaughter from the double allied team. Good night to Zaid, good night to Messican, as it seems the North has been broken. And this double allied team is doing mad work. But Yuno is going to be firing off. Cryo Shot fires off. Toxins come in. I guess that denies the reinforcements. It doesn't really do anything to stop the massive amount of firepower that's already in your base, but it does stop the reinforcements. Unfortunately, Messican doesn't really have anything to stop this base. And did Messican never take a 4th? This is actually kind of bizarre. I can't believe Messican never took a 4th, though. Maybe he took a 4th out on the water, and it got dropped by the Yurii mini-sub, but either way, it's all down to Yuno because the North has been completely broken. Zaid and Messican, they were doing a pretty good job fighting the 2v2, but as this allied wall continued to encroach, it never got fully reset. The IFV, the multi-gunner lines, never got completely reset. And as a result, this allied force just kept pushing further and further forward. And that, I think, is going to be the end of the game. Yuno has had some good games in the past, but I don't think Yuno is going to be able to pull off a 1v3. Especially a 1v3 where Alvin has already knocked down the water expansion and is using a Tank Buster Surprise to kill off a Harvester and deny more economy from Yuno. Zaid is technically still in this game. Messican, technically still in this game. What are you trying to do? This is going to be the craziest comeback. Not of all time, but a crazy comeback for sure if he was able to make this happen. Basically, no economy, double barracks on the production tab, and oh, he's going for another refinery as well. There is an army on your doorstep, and he's just dropped $5 grand on refineries. I hope he's got a big bank. Oh, okay. Apparently he does have a big bank. He legitimately does have a very big bank account. 7.5K spent on refineries. Yuno has been defeated. Yuno hands everything over to Messican, who is now going to be fighting on 2 fronts. And I think that will signal the beginning of the end here. The writing has been on the wall, and it is time to call it quits. Okay, there's the fire sale. Zaid is calling it quits, and that is going to be the end of the match. Well played to Prince, Daki, and Alvin Tay. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that name wrong, but that will do it. Messican is still in this game, but by proxy, if he just has a lot of stuff to sell off, the GG gets called, and that will do it for this match. Well, they can't all be amazing matches one way or the other, but thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and this is Cyber signing out.